People and Journeys are back once again to all of our wonderful rock fans. And tonight, all the way from Italiano, we have Gabriele. We're going to stick with Rusty. And the band is Klogr.
Absolutely. Hi everyone.
I'm going to end the interview there now, absolutely, because I've nailed the name of the band. So, Rusty, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. The reason you're here is because the wonderful Trish, on her journeys where she sees so many bands, saw you guys supporting Evermore. Evergrey. God's sake, I'm having a bad time. Evergrey, of course it was. Now, tell us, how did that come about? I mean, and what were you doing in the United Kingdom? Did you enjoy yourself?
It was amazing. We were in United Kingdom last time in 2018 with the Butcher Babies, and we had a stop for 5 years. Then, thanks to our backliner, Alex Parpinel, he has also the guitar tech for Evergrey. He get in touch with the band and say, why you don't touring with Evergrey? After a couple of email, everything was possible. And we had this big tour, 45 shows in, I think, 52 days, and we had, I think, 5 or 6 shows in UK, and was amazing as usual.
And for people who don't know your music, it's obviously rock. How would you describe your flavour of heavy rock then?
It's not easy because. It's a sort of alternative metal, but there is a small element of progressive and classic metal rock. It's not too heavy, it's not too soft, it's for sure melodic, and with heavy riff. We had a grunge roots because me and Krivets, we are very big grunge fans. So it's a mix of a lot of different genre, and it's not easy for us to label the band. And it could be a good thing because it's unique, maybe, but at the same time it's difficult because in Europe and UK, power metal is very popular. Alternative metal is not very popular. Bands like Godsmack, Chevelle, Stained are more popular in the United States. So for us, it's not very easy to play around Europe, but sometimes it's happen and the audience is happy. So we are happy.
So let's get the elephant out of the room and talk about your voice. Talk about your vocals here, because when I turned on your album, and bear in mind, I think I might have just listened to the last of the albums I was reviewing, which was one of them, which was Majestica. I wouldn't describe your vocals as clean vocals. Your typical clean, high pitched kind of typical power metal kind of rock star. And in fact, I would say that you don't have a clean vocal voice. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, it ranges between 2 points, either superb or fantastic. Okay, depending on the song that you are singing. And I've got to admit that when I listened to your music today, it took about a couple of tracks for me to attune to your kind of vocals. But the difference, I think, and I'm just going to put this to you, because when you're talking about some of what I call growler, which is typically where your voice would normally sit on some of the people I listen to, and I don't like growler. The problem with their voices, which annoys me, is that they're not very melodic. Whereas, even though I wouldn't suggest that your vocals are clean in terms of their edginess that you have, that kind of, you've got a gravelly, vocally voice, it's incredibly melodic. I mean, and your music is incredibly melodic as well, and it's almost hypnotic. It just kind of the musicality and your vocals kind of just seem to blend, which is like sometimes you go a little bit that way, and I go, it's still superb, and then sometimes I go, wow, that was just fantastic. Is that would be an apt description of your type of vocals?
Yeah, thank you very much. Because first of all, I don't think that I am a typical singer, that's studying vocal techniques. I'm studying vocal, and I'm practice my voice maybe every day, but I'm not looking for the perfect tone, clear tone, or a maximum extension of the voice. I try to practice more on interpretation, because when you try to explain something with your music, I love when you are trying also to act your music. When if I have to say something, the musicality of my voice create a difference between the meaning. So for sure, one of my best, my major influence in this kind of voice is Chris Cornell. That was an amazing singer, amazing tone, but never very clear.
No.
Sometimes was very. Is a technique called distortion. It's not a growl like a.
No.
But it's just with the full scores of your voice, you create this kind of distortion, and you can modulate this distortion and put this sound, how much of this sound you like, to create more aggressive or more melodic and soft kind of voice. So it's strange. It's another thing that is not helping the band, because when you listen to a typical singer that has a high voice, and this is impressive, and say, "Oh, this is a good singer," but they sound very equal. It's not very difficult to find a typical voice like Chris Cornell, or the singer that you can listen, like the Disturbed singer is very typical. You can recognize him, or maybe the Tool singer is unique. So when you try to find something different, it's not easy. And yes, I try to use my voice not as a technical singer, but more as a expression singer.
Yeah, it's I no disrespect to Majestica, but it was like the very first note on the very first song was that high pitched kind of and it was just like, if I had a penny every time I heard that note, I would be a very rich man, and it's just like, oh, come on, give me something different, give me something a bit, which is kind of nice. So me and Trish loved the likes of Evergrey and White Raven Down and Black Orchid Empire and that melodic song, and I would definitely put you into that heavy melodic kind of metal. I don't particularly like prog metal. I didn't hear any of your music going down that. I can see where you're coming from in terms of pick, but I mean, I'm anti prog metal. I hate prog metal, and the reason I don't like prog metal is because a lot of prog metal doesn't have enough melodies in there for me. But I felt that your music has a lot of melodies in it, and I just thought it blended your voice perfectly. So thank you, very, very good.
Thank you.
So, how did the band start? When did you guys form? Then, how long have you been together?
We started in 2011 with the first album, and has a medium band. We changed a lot of lineup. but not for personal problem, just because for a personal life, you know.
Yeah.
I am the only former member of the band, the original, because was my idea, and is, you know, this project is my life. So sometimes I find a brother that can follow me in this crazy journey. Sometimes I lost somebody on the on the road, but we started in 2011, and we had the first 4 or 5 years very busy with the first album 2011, EP in 2012, another album, Black Snow, in 2014, our big tour, first big tour with Prong, and then we had 2017, another important step. We produced an album with David Buttrill. He is the producer for Godsmack, Tool, Placebo, Stale, and a lot of big band, and was a very big experience for us. We touring with Botched Babies, Infected Rain. We play with Limp Biscuits here in Italy. But I think that the last album is the album that allow us to go on the scene again, and maybe it's time to go and understand the next step for us. So it was a long way, but not too long. You know, it's just 13 years of Klogr.
And have you always played this kind of alternative, kind of melodic heavy metal from the day one, from 2011? Is that always been, you know, what you've adhered to and stuck to as your passion?
You know, the band, the Klogr, for every album we I love to write an album as a band, so everybody can put the view, the point of view in the album. So we mix all the element and we play as a band. It's not a solo project. So there is some different aspect between the albums, but right now I think that we found a good balance of everything between me and Krives, the other guitar player. And I think that Fractured Realities is the right balance of of all the different not genre, but the different style that we had in the past. Maybe we will have another small change, because for the next album and the next tour and the next studio album, we are using different tuning on the guitar, but the core of the sound of the band will be pretty similar to Fractured Realities. So a big riff, but at the same time, the melody of the chorus, but not too classic, with a lot of element of grunge, a new rock, a new metal. So I think that Fractured Realities and the actual sound of the Klogr is the best sound that we had in all our career. And yeah, for sure the new album will be similar, but with more element, because 2 years ago I'm starting to work on a other project. I made 2 years during the pandemic. I made a lot of covers, and I play to arrange a lot of rock artists, but with a lot of synthesizer and other elements that I put on the Fractured Realities album later. So it seems like I kind of like Nirvana played by Nine Inch Nails, you know, this kind of strange experiment. And this is why Fractured Realities is the first album where you can find also synthesizer and electronic element.
Listen, whatever you do, just don't go down the growler route, okay? Your voice is perfect as it. Don't go like don't
No,
please
absolutely.
do not go down that route for me, okay? Cool.
I can't.
Right. Now we get to the midpoint, and the midpoint of the show is Trish time. And because if I don't let her ask her questions, she'll be on the phone, she'll be on WhatsApp, going like, "Oi, my turn, Trish time, Trish fire your questions."
Okay. Talking of Fractured Realities, I have to ask, what is your favourite track on that album?
It's strange because the album is like a song, so you have to love all your cats. But for sure, Whale Fall is one of the best song that I love as a song, because it's just a little bit different. He is heavy, but there is also a very sweet atmosphere, melodic but melancholic also at the same time. So it's my best song, also live.
Mine is Lead Wings, as you already know.
Oh, cool. I love it. Lead Wings. I love also Lead Wings because it's the perfect balance between grunge and progressive. So I love it.
It's just amazing.
I can't tell you what my favourite was because I was playing it in the car. My daughter put the music on, I was in the car, so I didn't know what the title of each track was, but but somewhere in the middle. I remember that bit.
How did you get your start into music? Like, were your parents into music, or how did it start for you?
It was a hard fight because music was my passion, but I'm getting music very old because I always played as a hobby, but in 2000 I took my decision to try to get in the music business as a primary job. I opened a studio, a small factory with a rehearsal room, and I tried to live only with the music. It was not easy, but I went in 4 years in academy in Bologna, a medium town here in Italy, and I spent 4 years of my life only studying music, 24 hours a day. Then I'm starting with an Italian band that I sang in Italian. My first band at 14 years old was a death metal band. But it was only an hobby. I decided to be a real musician in 2010 with the Klogr project.
Wow! And is this now your full-time work? Is you just full-time musician, or do you?
Yes, I have a couple of other business, but that allow me to be a musician 24 hours a day. I have also 2 daughters, 2 dogs, 1 ex-wife, and 1 girlfriend. So I have a lot of business.
Not the joke.
But I can play every time, all day. And we are a small band. We have our own label. We are manager of ourselves. We take care of all the technical aspect. It's sad, but is real, is true. As a musician, I can play maybe 15% of my day. All the other time is spent to the technical and technical aspect or promotional. And we are not the typical artist that can play 24 hours and because they have an assistant or a manager, or we have a good agent from K2, Ale, He's a very big friend of us, but we're doing everything from the graphics, from the artwork, from the video. I'm editing all the video, so it's very busy.
Wow. Because, like, for me, seeing you when you guys came over to the UK with Evergrey, to me, you are a big band, but you say you're a small band.
Thank you very much, because we are a big band, but not a lot of people know that. So, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, there was for sure something wrong in our career, and maybe I made a lot of mistake in my career, but now I'm able to say that we are able to be in the top level, and I think it's like a feeling something is changing. I'm too old right now, but is our time now, after the Evergrey tour. I understood a lot of things, I learned a lot of things, and yeah. But also, if you are a big band, you can manage your business by your own. So I don't think that I can coexisting with a manager or a label that say, okay, now you have to do a classic metal album because we have to sell more album. No, it's my music, it's my heart. I prefer to die poor, but with my music. So is
My last question would be, after you saying all of this, obviously what you've learned over the years, what would your advice be to your younger self starting out in the business?
so for sure. Music is one of the sports or a hobby or business that needs a lot of time and dedication. You know, I'm seeing a lot of band out there that just because they have a backing track, just because they have a good producer, they are not a big and good musician. I remember the first album from Van Halen or this kind of band. There was a real musician. They play for real, and you can feel it. You can hear it, and you can feel it. Right now, everybody has the idea that okay, we have a computer, we have the technology. The only thing that we have to have is a good photo, a good style. Not when you are live, the people can understand it. So I'm so proud of my band because we had a small backing track because we don't have the synthesizer on a stage, and at the same time we use this backing track because we have a visual synchronized with our music. And one night or maybe two nights in the two shows, we had a problem with the computer, but we play without nothing, like moderate, and the people was happy, like everything was. And a lot of people say, but we we didn't know that you can do you can have backing track, or because everything was perfect also in this way. So try to be more natural and authentic that you can, and play. You have to feeling your music. You have to feel your music. Is not just to be a poser. If you don't feel inside you what are you telling and what are you trying to share with your audience, it's just like it's like a poser. It's like a influencer. I'm not an influencer. I am a musician, and this is why when I have to do the real or this kind of things for the socials is a nightmare for me, because you know it's not my job. So for a young people, the first thing is play. I know sometimes the parents say you have to study for a real job. Don't lose your time playing music. But as 2-3 hours a day is not too much. Leave your phone. Go outside with your friend just 3 times and not 6 times a week, and spend time with your instrument, because it's a language, and if you want to explain something and share something with the people, you have to have a big vocabulary. You have to be able to speak in a good fluently in a good way. So it's, and for me, it's make me feel alive. So it's
that's so lovely.
Very, very, very,
Nigel,
very, very
back
passionate.
to you.
So, let's get to the other thing, shall we? Let's get to the beard, okay? Because let's be honest about it, you look incredible. You look like some Viking has been teleported from the past, and singing. Because when I said to Trish, she goes, "Have you met Rusty?" I went, "No," and she goes, "He's got real presence." I said, "I bet he hasn't got any more presence than I have." And she said, "No, you want to see him?" And I saw some images of you. And my God, I'm not saying it's intimidating, but it's almost like, I don't know, it feels like there's a real presence about you with the beard and everything else like that. Has that been something that you've intentionally kind of engineered over the years, or just something that's just naturally happened?
I don't know. It seems like naturally happening. We work a lot of ourselves. And I think it's very natural. It's naturally, yeah.
No, it's just, don't get me wrong. The best things are natural. The best things that progress or come through is natural in there, and you just look the part. Do you know what I mean? You
need to see him in his long black coat and his glasses.
Is it right?
Yeah.
I wish I was. Evergrey was. One of my favourite albums from last year, and I was due to come, and
You meant to come with me.
and I was I was ill, unfortunately, absolutely gutted. But anyway,
I don't really like the band that they have to painting themselves on stage. It's like it's too much for me, and I have to use only my glasses on stage because I have my lights on my eyes. So sometimes it's not a protection. I love to see in the eyes the audience, but I totally respect the band. Has one of our best friends is Lacuna Coil, and right now they are painting. They're very, it's like a horror movie in the stage, and. But this is why I am saying that we were born on the grunge era. Band like Nirvana or Soundgarden, Stained, Alice in Chains. They don't need to put a mask or other things on stage. Just the music and just themselves. Is.
So yeah, we're reviewing Lunacor's new album actually this month, and I didn't realise until I got you that your album had only just been released right at the end of last year, it was October. So I think it's fine that we're going to slot you into to our next month's reviews, because I think your album is terrific. So I hope everybody else likes it as well. But anyway, Rusty, what an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a real pleasure. Real fascinating. Yes.
Can I just mention that they are supporting Catatonia along with Evergrey in December in London. They've got a tour coming up.
Catatonia,
yeah,
my Welsh brethren.
Unfortunately, no UK show in April with Eileen. We are leaving for another European tour with Eileen, but no UK this trip. But in November and December, we will play with Catatonia and Evergrey, and I think that we will have 3 or 4 shows in in UK.
Try and make it.
Yes.
Try and
I've
make
got
it.
my
Fantastic, lovely, great to meet you, Rusty. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
so
Check
much.
out Klogr.
My pleasure.
Klogr. And Rusty, check out the music. Absolutely brilliant. The name of the album, was it Shattered Reality, wasn't it? Is it?
Fractured Reality.
Fractured Reality. Sorry. Right, Fractured Reality. Go and check it out. Absolutely cracking album. Thank you very much to Rusty. Good night. Keep on rocking and keep on safe out there, everybody. Bye for now.
Ciao. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. We love it. Bye.